Redstone is complicated, and unless you're in the top 1% of people who really understand it, there might be some features that confuse you, maybe even making you avoid them because you don't understand. So these are 5 things you might not know but need to know about Minecraft Redstone. Number 1, the comparator. This is possibly one of the most confusing items in Minecraft, but is also an essential one in the world of Redstone. Many people get stuck wondering what this does and can't figure it out, but it's actually quite simple. If you place down a comparator and then add some redstone on both sides and power this side, the signal will just continue on. But if we add a third redstone line into the mix, cool stuff starts happening. A comparator compares things, although hopefully you deduced that from the name. And what it compares is the signal going into the side against that going into the back. If the signal strength going into the side is greater than that going into the back, the output is off. And if the opposite is true, then the output will be on. It's that simple. More into side means no, more into back means yes. But there is one more thing to go over. You might have noticed that if you right click on the comparator, this redstone torch lights up. This means it is now in subtract mode. Now the signal strength going into the side is subtracted from that going into the back, and that is the output. So if a signal strength of 10 is going into the back, and a signal strength of 4 is going into the side, the output signal strength will be 6. Pretty simple, right? No? Well, with a little practice, I'm sure you'll remember. You'll probably also know that comparators measure what percent of a container is full, which is the one you will probably use the most. Number 2, bud powering. You might have heard of a phenomenon called bud powering or quasi-connectivity in the redstone world. Both of these refer to the same thing. If we place a piston and then a block on top with a lever, for example, and then a redstone block on top, we can turn on the lever and then remove the blocks, and the piston remains powered even though it is not powered. This occurs because of a bug or oversight in how Minecraft was built. If we give this piston a block update by placing something next to it, it immediately realizes that it is not powered and retracts. You might wonder how this is useful, and it is really only useful in certain advanced circumstances. And one thing it has been used for in the past is for a block update detector. In fact, that is what bud stands for. A circuit like this uses quasi-connectivity to detect when a block in front changes. This was such a useful bug that Mojang added it officially to Minecraft in the form of an observer, which does a very similar thing. Number 3, flying machines. Everyone thinks that flying machines are super complex and intimidating, but actually they aren't too difficult. While I'm not an expert, here are the basics of flying machines. If a sticky piston is given a 1-tick pulse, it will actually let go of its block and leave it as if it were a normal piston. And then, if you give it another pulse, it will pick it back up again. An observer gives a 1-tick pulse, as you can see here, so if we connect some slime blocks to this and then mirror the design on the other side, we can get a simple flying machine. As you can see, the 1-tick sticky pistons are cycling back and forth, thus driving the whole contraption along. You can connect various shapes to these different contraptions to do various things. Now, as I said, I'm not an expert on flying machines in the slightest, so if you want some more information on different types of flying machines and cool ways to use them, check out the video in the description. Number 4, pressure plates. You might wonder why pressure plates are on this list. Pressure plates are simple, right? Well, if you think so, then you should probably watch this section. There are 4 different kinds of pressure plates: wooden, stone, lightweighted, and heavyweighted. Wooden pressure plates are the kind you probably think of most of the time. Thing goes on top, redstone output. Wooden pressure plates detect any entity that is on top of it and outputs a signal strength of 15. This includes players, mobs, items, arrows, armor stands, and pretty much any other entity in Minecraft. Stone pressure plates are similar, but only detect players and mobs, not items or any other entity, and it still outputs a signal strength of 15. Now we move on to the pressure plates most people forgot exist because they don't know how they work: the golden and the iron pressure plates. Gold pressure plates are actually called light-weighted pressure plates, and they are called this because they need a certain weight to output a signal. These pressure plates output 1 level of redstone for every entity that is on top of them. This includes all entities like wooden pressure plates, so if there are 12 zombies on top, it will output a signal strength of 12. If there are 3 sticks and a pork chop on top, it will output a signal strength of 4, and so on. A heavy-weighted pressure plate does the same thing, but instead it outputs a signal strength of 1 for every 10 entities on top. So if you wanted a signal strength of 4, you would need 40 entities on top, whether it be zombies, sticks, pork chops, or anything else. Number 5. Block powering. You might be mystified as to why this doesn't work when this does. The reason for this is because in Redstone, you can actually power any solid block, and that block sort of becomes charged with redstone power and behaves like a redstone block. As you can see, even though no redstone of any kind is touching this piston, the block underneath it is powered, which is why the piston fires. Now this only works if redstone is directly powering the block, either by redstone dust going to the side or a redstone torch pointed straight up at it. Redstone running underneath a block doesn't power it, and this is also why redstone under blocks like pistons and dispensers also doesn't work. Redstone torches right next to the block also don't power it. Redstone dust running beside a block doesn't power it either unless it is a block that redirects redstone toward itself. This is why redstoners use target blocks, because they are solid blocks that also redirect redstone into themselves. I hope some of these tips helped you become better at redstone. If at least one of them did, comment which one down below, and maybe drop a like and subscribe. In any case, this has been Minecrafter Joe, and thanks for watching.